Fungusaur is the coolest dinosaur made out of fungus ever. I mean, it might be the only dinosaur made out of fungus, but that's beside the point. So, Fungusaur is a 2/2 creature that costs 4 mana, and whenever Fungusaur is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's really interesting. It's a card that discourages you from chump blocking it, but it's also a 2/2, so it's not like it's something that you need to chump block, and it's pretty easy to block and kill it, right? Taking 2 from a creature that costs 4 isn't that big of a deal, you know? But as it takes damage, it becomes a bigger problem and can even be sort of threatening if you ignore the fact that Alpha had so much efficient removal at Uncommon. But I love this card because it's funny, it's not the worst card, and you can do some really creative things with it. I personally really enjoy combining Fungusaur with Pestilence, as it won't die to the Pestilence, and can act as a finisher after you've dealt some damage and cleared the enemy board with Pestilence. It's pretty neat, at least it was until revised. I guess someone figured out Pestilent Fungusaur or some other method of breaking this card, and the fucking nerds that made the balance decisions didn't like it, because starting in revised, Fungusaur could only get 1/+1/+1 counter at end of turn. What in the pansy-ass shit is this? They printed Balance until 4th edition, but Fungusaur was a problem. Absolutely crazy to me. They ruined Fungusaur. They did eventually fix Fungusaur in 8th edition by changing it back, and I guess they were right to initially nerf it because this thing instantly became a meta-dominating card. No, it did not. That was an untrue. Fungusaur was not a dominating meta card. But this is probably one of the most based things that Mark Rosewater ever did. He has an article where he talks about 8th edition and why some really cool old cards got reprinted, like Underworld Dreams and Rock Egg. But he also pushed to have the one true Fungusaur returned to us. And it's glorious. I love Fungusaur so much. The real Fungusaur, not the revised bullshit that some salty crybaby forced upon the world. Fungusaur is so fucking cool, dudes. I don't really know what else to say about it. You can combine it with stuff like Earthquake or Prodigal Sorcerer if you want, but I don't want to give you all the answers. This little fungus is such a fun way to fuck around and play with creatures in what is a really interesting way. Not that I don't like turning creatures sideways, but it is really fun when there's more going on. This video is probably going to be a shorter one, which is disappointing because I do love talking about Fungusaur, but I don't really know what else to say about it. The ability is really interesting, the card is hilarious, and stuff like this is healthy for the game, in my opinion. Like, this is just hilarious. But I guess I can only stall for so long. So let's talk about the art and get this video over with. The original art was illustrated by Daniel Gellin, and I love this art so much. It's just a silly little guy, or possibly girl. The flavor text references a mama Fungusaur and really helps with the flavor of the card. I guess I'll just read the flavor text really quickly. Sorry for doing all this out of order. Rather than sheltering her young, the female Fungusaur often injures her own offspring, thereby ensuring their rapid growth. See, that's really neat. It ties the mechanics to the flavor and is kind of written in the style of a narration of a nature documentary. Funny stuff. Anyway, Daniel's art here is fantastic. It just looks like a funny little dude with a smile on his face having a grand old time. Fantastic art, in my opinion, and art that stuck around for a long time. Okay, well, not that long, I guess, because they changed it in 5th edition. This was illustrated by Scott M. Fisher, and I feel like I'm in an awkward spot, because I do really like this art. I think the use of colors is fantastic and it's well designed. The tongue with the saliva is particularly awful in the best way. So I like this art, but that is not Fungusaur. I don't know what the hell this lizard is, but it's not the Fungusaur I know and love. Also, the crazy eyes are also really well done. Like I said, I do really like this piece, but I would appreciate it far more if it was on a card that wasn't Fungusaur. But this is also during the era of Fungusaur being left out on the streets by WotC. Still, the art is good, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me. I would be glazing this art so hard if it was on a different creature though. So, the fact that it's a Fungusaur is really my only hang-up with the art, and that's, you know, pretty stupid. But let's move on. There's only one more Fungusaur art left, and it's the art from 8th edition and beyond. The 8th edition art was illustrated by Heather Hudson, and it's really fucking sweet. It's very clearly inspired by Daniel Gellin's work, and that makes me so happy. This art is fantastic. I definitely prefer Gellin's work because I prefer the old Magic art to even 8th edition, which it's not really new art anymore. I guess I prefer the archaic art to the less old art, at least personally. But the piece is well done, looks realistic, and looks believable, and looks like a Fungusaur. It's seriously great work by Heather. It's inspiring in, like, kind of a stupid way to see Fungusaur come back after being nerfed, and to have interesting art to be exactly what he appeared in Alpha, right? Like, if you saw, like, if you were playing since Alpha or Revised or what, well, before Revised, I guess, and loved Fungusaur, and then came back around 8th edition, like, you would probably really like this piece, because it's such a well-done homage in every way. Just in time for years of power creep to make him, like, not good. Not that he was good in Alpha, but he's especially not good by 8th edition. You love to see it. But you'll always be meta in my heart, Fungusaur. Anyway, that's all I really have for you today. What do you think about Fungusaur? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this stupid card. And what's more, I'd love to hear what stupid card you love that is not good, but is interesting and just makes you happy for whatever dumb reason it is. But yeah, that's all I have for you, I guess. So you can like the video if you liked it. You can subscribe if you give a shit, but either way, I hope you have a magical day. Thanks for watching.